pressure medication or trying to keep your blood pressure from spiking, you probably shouldn't watch this video. For everybody else, though, this is a must-watch video, as we were savagely betrayed by the Republicans in Jeff City just yesterday in our fight to expand Missouri's self-defense laws. Aaron Dorr here, guys, with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Like I said, guys, this video is going to make you mad, but you have got to know the truth about what's happening here in Jeff City in our fight to protect and defend our gun rights. So get signed in, watch this video, and when we're done, help us take action. Everybody knows right now that in light of what happened to Mark McCloskey, seeing a guy who obviously used reasonable and justifiable threatened force to protect himself and his wife, seeing him and his wife be indicted by a Soros-funded piece of trash prosecutor named Kim Gardner in St. Louis, we all know that Missouri's self-defense laws have problems with them. And I can give that problem to you in one sentence. The problem with Missouri's self-defense laws is that the burden of proof lies on you and me. It lies on the citizen to prove that we are innocent, whereas it should lie with the government to prove that we're guilty. In a nutshell, that's the problem that we have here in Missouri. The idea of innocent until proven guilty does not apply to self-defense cases. And so the bill that we're pushing right now in Jeff City, SB 666 and House Bill 2118, would fix that problem. And it tells the state, it tells the government that if you want to put this person in prison, okay, make your case in court. It inverts that presumption of we're guilty, and instead it gives us a presumption of innocence. In the state of Missouri, or the county, the county level prosecutors have to prove that we're not. It sounds like the way things are supposed to be, right? It sounds like how our Constitution, how our freedoms have always been written into our constitutional freedoms, that we have an absolute right to be presumed innocent until a court of law proves that we are guilty. That's what our bill would address. Now, I want to be very clear on this. We're not the first state to do this. Far from it. In fact, 16 states have already done what we're trying to do here in Missouri right now. 16 states have inverted the presumption, and now the presumption lies with the gun owner. That list of states, just so you know, includes Arkansas, Arizona, California. Ooh, that's not a red state. Florida, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Every one of these states has done away with the idea that we have to prove our actions were reasonable in court, and instead they presume that we're innocent and they require the government to prove that we are guilty. That is what we should do here in Missouri as well. That's what our bill draft would do. And what it also does is gives immunity then on civil prosecution as well, until or unless you have been convicted in court of a criminal violation. And just to be clear, 24, I'm not a math major. And my first grade teacher, Kathy Hoffman, always told me that. You never be a math major, Aaron. But where I come from, 24 states is shockingly close to half of America. That's what my math tells me. 24 states have already adopted civil immunity protections for gun owners in a self-defense situation unless they're convicted in criminal court. That's the same thing our bill here would do here in Missouri. However, in the hearing on this bill 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, the radical left, funded by Michael Bloomberg, all kinds of PA's offices, prosecuting attorney's offices here in Missouri, Everytown for Gun Safeties, Moms Demand Action, city police departments in St. Louis, Kansas City, Springfield, etc. They all came out and said that passing this bill would make murder legal. Make murder legal. It was all BS. It was all lies. And it was all designed to lie about this bill. However, in the committee hearing on this, the committee vote on this that took place yesterday, the Republicans stabbed you right in the back. The Republicans sided with Bloomberg-endorsed Democrats on the committee to tank the bill. Yesterday in the Senate Transportation Committee, SB 666 was struck down by a vote of 4-3. 4-3. Now, there's 2 Democrats on this committee, 2 Democrats and 5 Republicans. Okay. So 2 Democrats, 5 Republicans. However, 2 of the Republicans joined up with the radical left and shot this bill down. These are the 2. You got Mr. Tough Guy there with his arms folded across his chest, Mr. Debonair with his spiky hair, Lincoln Hough, a backstabbing rhino traitor if there ever was one. And then you have the vice chairman of the committee, Jason Bean. Comes across like Mr. Nice Guy, local farmer, NRA member. But when we needed him yesterday in committee, Jason Bean, the guy on the left you're seeing right there, stabbed you in the heart and did exactly what Everytown for Gun Safety told him to do and voted against this bill. You see, every so often we get asked by people, by lobbyists, by politicians in Jeff City, by media outlets, why are you guys so mean or so focused on holding Republicans accountable? Like, aren't the Democrats the ones who are causing so many problems in Jeff City? And I always have to laugh at that BS. It's ridiculous. The Republicans have a constitutional super majority here in Jeff City. They control everything. 5-7 on this committee. But all those majorities don't count for a damn thing when the Republicans stab us in the back like this. This is unexcusable behavior. This was not an accident. This was not a mistake. It wasn't done out of ignorance. This was heavily intentional. We tried meeting with Senator Bean and Senator Hough just a couple of days ago, but of course their schedule is too busy to entertain meetings with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. So, guys, they have got to hear from you right away. These 2 guys, Hough and Bean, have got to know that if you come after our gun rights, here's their photograph again, you can come across like Mr. Pro-Gun. You can flaunt your pathetic NRA credentials. You can have your hair as spiked as you want it to be. But if you don't fight for us in the Capitol when we need you the most, we're going to hold you accountable, guys. That has always been our promise to you. That will never change. So, guys, we're asking you right now to contact these 2 scoundrels. Lincoln Hough's number is 417-848-7902. I'm going to say it again. Lincoln Hough's number, 417-848-7902. Now, Jason Bean needs to hear from you as well. He's the vice chairman of this committee, and his phone number is 573-225-6768. I'll say that one again. Jason Bean, 573-225-6768. Both of these worthless rhino traitors need to hear from you immediately. Now, I want to be clear. This was the first salvo, the first effort to advance this bill. There are many different ways to work on this. By no means are we shut down for this session, but this was the easiest way. This was the most direct way. And these Republicans made it impossible by siding with the radical left, like Senator Greg Razor. Senator Razor is currently sponsoring bills to repeal constitutional carry here in Missouri. That's who Jason Bean and Lincoln Hough jumped into bed with. That's who they're in bed with. The radical leftist arm of the entire Senate, that's who they sided up with. It is shocking behavior. And guys, if you let this stand, if we let this stand, if people like Jason Bean and Lincoln Hough don't hear from gun owners, it's only going to encourage more betrayals. So contact them immediately. A major shout out, though, to Senator Bill Eigel. Senator Eigel got on that committee floor yesterday and lambasted all of the falsehoods that were talked about in regards to this bill. He made it very clear that what we're doing here, or trying to do here, is already law in 16 other states. What we're doing here is necessary. What we're doing here is in the tradition of the idea of innocent until proven guilty. This does not make murder legal. It makes prosecutors do their job and build a case before we are arrested. It's that simple. And Bill Eigel fought for this yesterday. We want to thank him for fighting for this. Cindy O'Laughlin was a yes vote. And finally, Justin Brown was a yes vote. But stop. listen, Justin Brown is the chairman of this committee. Justin Brown is a backstabbing bastard as well. You see, he was a yes vote yesterday because they had, prior to the committee, done a whip count. That means they figured out who was a yes and who was a no. And Justin Brown decided, you know what? I can be a yes vote on this and it will still die. Because if Justin Brown had any fidelity to the Second Amendment, he would have done a whip count beforehand and realized that this thing might not pass because the Republicans are going to stab us in the back, and held the bill back. But Justin Brown ran the bill through committee knowing it was going to die 4-3 and knowing he could vote yes and hoping we would all give him a pass. Justin Brown's actions, frankly, are far more devious even than Lincoln Hough and Jason Bean, because he's lying right to your face while he's working behind the scenes trying to tank the bill. Folks, nobody else is going to give you the straight facts like this besides the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Hell, nobody else was even in the room during testimony fighting for this. All the national groups who were asking you for money, they were a no-show. There was not a single other pro-gun organization, state or federal, present in that hearing. Not a single other organization working the halls in Jeff City to fight for this legislation. So if you guys want to be a part of an organization who is fighting for you in Jeff City, today is the day to get involved. Go to joinmofc.com, joinmofc.com, or our full website, MissouriFirearmsCoalition.org, and get signed up. You see, if we don't have more Missourians getting involved in this fight, we're going to have more and more betrayals in Jeff City. It was a hellacious battle passing SAPA last year in a Republican-controlled building. They should not be that way. They should be falling over themselves to fight for freedom, and they're not doing it, guys, which is why we need you to be involved in this fight. So today, make those 2 phone calls, as I mentioned. Lincoln Hough's number, 417. Here's their photographs again. These little backstabbing weasel traitors. Lincoln Hough, 417-848-7902. Give him a call. Jason Bean, 573-225-6788. And I mentioned with some detail Senator Brown and his betrayal as well, where he's basically killing the bill at the last minute, votes yes, just trying to get protection from gun owners. That crap cannot stand, guys. You can give him a call as well, 573-578-8066. Reading it off my phone here. They have to hear from you guys right away. Then, as I said, go to joinmofc.com and get involved today. And finally, guys, share our video. Every gun owner in the state needs to know where the fight is right now in Jeff City. And folks, it's not with the Democrats. It's not with Michael Bloomberg. It's backstabbing Republican pieces of trash. And they have got to feel the heat today. Thank you, guys. Share our video. We'll keep you informed. Take care.